Hello. I like to do I like to do this. Zoom. That's our starter. Okay, well, Wuzzy just jumped up, so I could have went and got I can't find the remote. I could wasn't allowed to get up because she was on my lap, but hopefully the music's not too loud because I don't know where the remote is. That's not the welcome. Welcome, whosoever's. Welcome, infidels, seekers, believers, agnostics, atheists. I mean, whatever, whoever, whatever you are, we're here to gather. This is a gathering space. Um, you know, yeah, just come on in. I forgot my opener. I'm trying to do that like the fancy ones do it, but I can't. All right, so try to get to some reading tonight. I almost skipped it because I've been on a diet for about 2 hours and it's not going well. And I got hungry and angry, and I didn't think the reading was going to work out. so, so I ate a little bit. It was pretty healthy though, some turkey and an apple. And I had to start this diet because my mom took a picture of me, and I didn't know I was that fat. I also started noticing I got a double chin again somewhere out of. So this happened. That's what marriage has done. Anyway, enough about my problems. We're gonna read tonight. It has gotten a little late. I was catching up with an old coworker who messaged me and has a baby now, and oh, she's just so sweet. So that was a great chat, Amber. That was a pleasant surprise. She'll want to bring the baby over and see me too. So that was fun, but I don't know how the reading will go. It's 20 pages. I think I'm good to go for tonight. Dear listeners, I love you enough that I will sacrifice and possibly be a little chilly. Uh, I turned the heater off and the furnace up. You know how that goes backwards. So that, for that purpose, you don't have to listen to all that noise. Whatever. I'll just read ruckus. Okay, that's what's going on here. Okay. I'm just going to get in the reading tonight since it's getting a little late for me already. I never know what I'm going to say. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. That certainly was not what any of it I thought was. Um, I'm just going to read. Had a great day. I hope you all did. It's on my heart a lot about a lot of people with, there's a lot of people that are having rough times, grieving, and gosh, my heart goes out to you. I don't sit back and be like, oh, my life is so good. It's not. I mean, yes, it is. I mean, it's not perfect. And I used to be a real mess. I'm just a warm mess now, no longer a hot mess, a lukewarm mess. I, it, I just hope you all know, hang on. You're going through stuff, and gosh, we can come to different places. I don't know what to say. It's so hard to say anything, but on a level like this, because, everybody's hurting for a different reason. And so that's been on my mind. So anyway, wherever anybody's at, that's why this is for the whosoever's. Reach out to me or somebody, because I mean, I know people that are hurting for so many, 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 many various reasons, and it's heartbreaking. And I know that I did for years. I talked about that a little bit before. My head is not quite in the right place for that right now because I'm still a little hungry. I'm still reeling from the wonderful conversation I just had with an old coworker. I'm ready to read, a little chilly, as for you. Just kidding. If I run away to go turn the heat up, well, that's that. And you'll have to wait a second. But, oh, I didn't even bring here's my blankie. Well, that'll help. So let's get the blankie on. I got unfocused so quickly. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. I got unfocused thinking about a lot of people are hurting. I'd like to say a lot more about that. Good God, did I just have a baby kick? I leaned over and I had a rib pain. I might have broken a rib. Here we go again. Have to tell you all the story. Sometime I just told about the time that Fuzzy scarred a hand model from California. I'm not kidding. It's a great story. Let's read. That stuff can all be for later. Some people might want to be here to hear this, but it was a good story, right? Right, Amber? It was fantastic. It's such a true story. He was in Newsies. I've got a signed copy. He was a neighbor. Yeah, I'm all over the place right now, and I thought I was so focused. There's something about being in the stillness and, having the incense going and the music and getting in your zone and being comfortable and having those moments, and then something about now you all just invaded my privacy and now my thoughts are going all over the place. So darn you for invading my privacy. Oh wait, I'm the one that invited you. I'm sorry, I don't finish thoughts. I hope that was fun for you. Like I said, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Maybe I should start over and do a take two. Good Lord, I'm something sometimes. The plan is to read. I always say impromptu. I cannot be scripted. I've tried, and it never ever works. Okay, I'm gonna read. The Ancients. We're on chapter 5, and it's Is the Bible from Heaven by Alex Gleason. That's the part 1 of the book. So here we go. The Ancients, their history, early astronomers, sages of the present system. The authors of the present system of astronomy were the following, as quoted from the Encyclopedia Americana. Nicholas Copernicus, born at Thorn on the Vistula, February 19, 1473. Tycho it got me in a different language up in here again. Now we're in Germany or something. German. Born at Nebstrup, that's a fun word, in Schonen, a province. Then, just when you think you're a good reader and they got to throw this at you, then, subject to Denmark in 1546, he died in 1601, aged 55. Yeah, I'm 56. Galileo. Oh, I know words. I do know words. Born at Pisa, Italy in 1564. Died January 8th, 1642. Aged 78. Shoot, I was going to open with prayer. Maybe I should. Maybe. Okay, maybe next time. Maybe I'll close with it. John Kepler, born at Wiel in Württemberg in 1571, died in Ratisbonne in 1650, age 61. Sir Isaac Newton, born December 25th, 1642. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and happy birthday, Sir Isaac Newton. I did not know that little fact. At Lincolnshire, England, he died at Westminster, March 20th, 1725, aged 84. I'm sorry to people that are taking this really seriously and can't follow the reading. I'm trying to get at least through paragraph chunks or sentences that you can follow the story. Well, I mean, good luck. We'll see how it goes. Some people say they're making it through all right, but the history of astronomy begins with the most remote antiquity. That we're partying now. Commercial. The starry heavens must have been one of the first and most striking objects which attracted the attention of man, and his immediate wants compelled him to attend to the revolutions of the seasons, changes of the moon, etc. The most ancient astronomical observations known to us are the Chinese. I almost went into a Chinese impression. That wouldn't be a not. Such an one, mentioned by Montucla, page 455 of his work, volume 1, as follows. A conjunction of Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and the Moon occurred about 2500 before our era. The Chaldeans also boast of some very ancient astronomical astronomical observations, but Ptolemy only mentions 2 lunar eclipses observed by them about 700 BC. Still less importance does he ascribe to the astronomical knowledge of the Egyptians, although the placing of their pyramids in a position exactly facing the 4 cardinal points, that's how it's spelled, P-O-N-S-T. It could be a typo, because might be points, because I did find a typo in this book, and was spelled A-A-D. I'm pretty sure they didn't do it that way back in 1890. By the way, I should remind everybody that, in case you don't know, or this is your first listen to this book, which is fine, I don't think it has to go in order by chapter. Each chapter, it probably follows that it would be good, but they seem to stand alone in my mind anyway, but what do I know? It is from 1890. This chapter is 20 pages, and that's why I want to get right on it. But because the one that was 27 pages long and I talked my little head off was an hour and 40 minutes, and I didn't mean to make them that long. I thought maybe if I get more through some of the reading and then save jibber jabber for the end, maybe that'll work. But who thinks I can do it? Raise your hand. Okay, so back you up. Still less importance does he ascribe to the astronomical knowledge of the Egyptians, although the placing of their I went way too far back. Pyramids in a position exactly facing the 4 cardinal points of the compass, the zodiacs discovered in Egypt, and other circumstances are by no means calculated to give us such a disadvantageous idea of it. Hey, I can speed read like it's a crazy thing I do. I'll do that at the end. It's quite fun. I've done it with some things that it's kind of wild. I don't know, you can follow it, but with easier words. Some people can actually keep up with it. It's pretty fun. The theory of Bailly, B-A-I-L-L-Y, a later historian of astronomy respecting a nation settled in Middle Asia and possessed of profound astronomical knowledge, seems as unfounded as our acquaintance with Indian astronomy and slight. The science made great progress in Greece, and the Greek philosopher Thales, born 640 BC, calculated a solar eclipse. Pythagoras also seems to have been possessed of astronomical knowledge. After him, the Athenian Meton, that's a good name. If I have another son, I'm going to name him Meton, M-E-T-O-N. Yeah, I'm 50, almost 57. 43 BC. Okay. Maybe I'll get a dog and name him Meton. It looks cooler in spelling. Moving on. 433 BC. Introduced the famous lunar cycle of 19 years, at the end of which time the new moon appears on the same day of the year as at the beginning of it, since 19 solar years constitute very nearly 235 lunations, a discovery which was then regarded as so important that the calculation was engraved in letters of gold, whence the number which marks the year of the cycle is still called the golden cycle. Interesting. I mean, I had never heard that. I had never known that. I got some real moon fanatics that'll like that right there, I know. Kayla, that's a shout out for you. And Kylie. A bunch of you, I know. Great progress was made in astronomy under the Ptolemies, and we find Timocharis and Aristillus employed about 300 years BC in making useful planetary observations. But they were far surpassed in philosophical spirit by Aristarchus of... I'm going to have to focus. Boy, it got me up in all kinds. Now I'm in Greek. It's all Greek to me. Born 267 BC, who, according to the indubitable evidence of the Archimedes, they are not going to go easy on me tonight, and I'm already getting chilly and be shivering and trying to read and have to run away to go get... You're going... Why can't it ever just be a nice reading? Goodness, Ruckus reads such a professional. Hey, what do you think of the name change on the title? I said... I asked Jen, should it be, because I don't, Ruckus reads, you know, I want to do more than read. I got ideas. I got topics and little things, but so that, you know, maybe people don't want to just listen to a book or a book with this topic. But so I asked her, I said, should it be Razor Ruckus or should it be Ruckus and the Whosoevers? And she comes about like hours later, is like, Razor Ruckus. I was like, okay, that's great, but I already changed it to Ruckus and the Whosoevers. So, yeah, because that makes it, you know, you're here with me. So I like that. That's why it's that. It's your channel too. Let's see. You might have to enjoy the music while I go turn the heat up. Take a little break. I mean, it'll take literally 20 seconds if I don't fall down on the stairs, which is possible. Who, according to the indubitable evidence of Archimedes, taught the double motion of the earth around its axis and around the sun. About 100 years after him, Hipparchus determined more it's Hipparchus determined more exactly the length of the solar year, the eccentricity of the sun's orbit, the precession of the equinoxes, and even undertook a catalogue of the fixed stars. From the time of Hipparchus, a chasm exists in the history of astronomy till the 2nd century after Christ, when Ptolemy compiled a complete system of astronomy in 13 books. I could focus better if I weren't cold. Which is best known under the name of Almagest, given by the Arabians who translated it into their language in 1827, and which, as the Ptolemean system of the world, notwithstanding its many errors exposed in the article universe, this work has maintained its value down to the last times. Okay, we're going to read about the Romans in a minute. I'm not going to lose my place. I'm on the second paragraph of page 77, saying that for myself, so I don't come back and read all the wrong stuff to you. So, I'll be right back. Hi, Fuzzy. Hi, Fuzzy. Hello. Where is baby Z? There you are. Hello. Okay, I'm back. I did kind of trip over the stairs a little bit. I don't have my glasses on, because I can't read with my bifocals, or not even bifocals. I think they're trifocals or some kind of, I don't remember what they are, but I have issues. So here we go. Among the Romans, on the contrary, astronomy was never much esteemed, and no astronomical discovery had its origin with them. Though it must be observed that expressions occur in Seneca's questions of national, NAT, period, comma, respecting comments which are worthy of a riper age, and the service likewise deserves mention with Julius Caesar rendered. But with the interruption of the barbarians on one side and the destruction of the Alexandrian library on the other, now there's an interesting topic. Alexandrian library. The destruction is the interesting part. Such a total stagnation occurred in the last of astronomy, as in that of the sciences in general, that we find no traces of astronomical study and observations till the 9th century among the Arabs, whose translation of Ptolemy's works has already been mentioned. But we must not overrate the merits of the Arabian astronomers, since they confined themselves entirely to the system of Ptolemy and confounded the science with the dreams of astrology, though on the other hand the benefits which they have rendered by valuable observations of the fixed stars, many of which is well known, still bear Arabic names of eclipses, of the obliquity, of the ecliptic, etc., and by the preservation of ancient mathematical works which have come to us in their translations, are not to be forgotten. Among the Christian nations during the time, a deep ignorance generally prevailed, but the cultivation of the astronomical senses was not neglected. Thus the Emperor Frederick II, who died in 1250, caused the Almagest, the Greek original, being no longer extant, to be translated from the Arabic into the Latin, and King Alfonso of Castile, about the same time invented to his court several astronomers and commissioned them to prepare a new set of astronomical tables, which under the name Alphonsine tables has acquired much celebrity, but in the 17th century differed a whole degree from the true situation of the celestial bodies. Encyclopedia Americana, pages 434 and 435. We pass over several less important and less famous names in order to reach those on whom the present universally accepted system of astronomy stands or falls. We shall notice these first in their I just realized maybe some of y'all like the sound of that. I know you like to sleep with fans on. I hate it. Like it. Like nice little. Anyway, I don't like fans blowing. I don't like that sound in my cars and whatnot. Anyway, I have a little issue with. I'm not going to go into it. I don't like fan noise. We shall notice these first in their chronological and contemporary order as they become notorious with the science of astronomy, much of it fabulous or falsely so called. In giving a synopsis of those who have been foremost in the promulgation and origin of this system, it will be our special purpose to see if there is an infallible evidence produced by any of these sages to prove the globular theory of the earth, which is of necessity required axial and orbital motion. The first of the so-called bright lights in the cause was Nicholas Copernicus, born at Thorn on the Vistula, February 19, 1473. Theoretical, says Webster, speculations, speculative, not practical. The Copernican theory was admitted by him to be merely assumption and not necessarily capable of demonstration. The following are in his words: "It is not necessary that a hypothesis should be true or even probable. It's sufficient that it leads to the result of calculation which agrees with calculation. Now I know some of you don't like these parts and you're getting bored with them, and I hope you'll hang in there and have fun. Thanks for listening anyway. I don't know what to tell you. This is what I want to read. I think it's great. I love it. There might be fun parts at the end. That's why maybe I'll do something separate, but where do you go? Because I think this stuff's pretty interesting. And I know a bunch of you do. I know some of you that love me are trying to listen for other reasons, or because you love the Bible and you love God and you like that, and you want to find out if I'll, burn the house down during a read. I gotta stop saying that. That ain't, you knock on some wood, go with my head. Read, Ruckus. Thanks for listening, is my point. Let's get through this. I'll let you know if there's really long, boring parts and you don't want anything to do with it. I'll put it maybe in the description, and then you can just go to the end or something. I don't know. I probably won't be much of an after party tonight. I don't know what'll happen, but because it's a longer 20 pages. Nah, we'll get there. If I just get through it, we'll get through it. Neither let anyone, so far as hypotheses are concerned, expect anything certain from astronomy, since that science can afford nothing of the kind, lest, in case he should adopt for the truth things feigned for another purpose, he should leave this science more foolish than he came. The hypothesis of the terrestrial motion was nothing but an hypothesis, valuable. Remember, hypothesis means an educated guess. Yeah, all y'all knew that. Y'all smart. Okay, so valuable only so far as it is explained phenomena and not considered with reference to absolute truth or falsehood. Copernicus assumed that the sun was the center of the system and the earth was a planet, also Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, that these revolved around the sun in the time as given herewith. Mercury in 87 days, Venus in 224. I think the incense is getting to me tonight, but man, it was a good one. I don't know what the heck it was. It's called, seriously, OUDH. Who knows what that is? It's a free sample. OUDH. Ouch. Another language. Okay, that these revolved around the sun in the time as given herewith. Mercury in 87 days. Oh, shoot. Venus in 224, the Earth in 365, Mars in 1 year and 321 days, Jupiter in 11 years, and Saturn in 29 years, reckoning these years and fractions according to our standard or Earth's time. We've got a little picture here, a figure. One of these days I'm going to try to get a few of these things in to the community tab. It's not much. Okay, here we go. It's a little figure 3. The Copernican theory also required in its terrestrial motion that the Earth moved in an elliptical path around the sun, as here represented by diagram S. Is the sun, C, the Earth in June, D, its position in December. Yeah, I'll have to get that in there. See, it's like a circle, and it's got some A's and some B's and some C's and some arrows. When desired to offer some proof of this orbital motion, he suggested that a given star should be settled for observation. The first observation, C to A, was recorded an observation again at the end of 6 months when the Earth was supposed to have passed to D. Okay, I will try to get this in. That's interesting. It's like a circle that's drawn, and then it almost looks like it starts at the corner and of the round. I don't know what. Like, okay, imagine it like if you got a circle and we drew a line straight through the center, and then we went over here on the edge of it and we went straight up. There's diagonals pointing straight up, and then it comes down across, back down to the other side, and then goes back up again. I see what it's doing, but you'll have to see the picture. It seems interesting. Okay, so the other extreme of its orbit, to the astonishment of the assembled astronomers, the star was observed in exactly the same position, D and B, as it has been 6 months previous. Sorry, none of this is going to make any sense without being able to see it. It was expected that it would be seen in the direction of DNA, and the observation would demonstrate the Earth's. I promise, I will put this in I'll figure it out tonight or tomorrow. It'll be in the community tab. And the observation would demonstrate the Earth's motion from C to D, and also furnish with the distance, the elements necessary for calculating the actual distance of the star A to B. This is pretty important. Well, I mean, to me, might not be to you. The above experiment, to what I'm reading, if you want to understand it, the picture kind of is. The above experiment, it's almost over. The above experiment has many times been tried, and always with the same general result. No difference whatever has been observed in the lines of sight, CA and AD, where every known principle of optics and geometry would require that if the Earth had really moved from C to D, the fixed star A should be seen in the direction of D and A. So that's a good description, because that sometimes is a hard thing to explain, and anyway, yeah, that's good. Okay, so it's gonna just talk one more paragraph about it, and then it'll change subjects, since you can't see the figure right now. Well, maybe you can, because hello to the future from the past. Hopefully in the future you can see the picture. The advocates of this hypothesis or orbital motion, instead of being satisfied from the failure to detect a difference in the angle of observation, that the Earth could not possibly have changed its position in the 6 months, were so regardless of all logical consistency that instead of admitting and accepting the consequences, they, or some of them, declared that they could not yield up the theory on account of its explaining certain phenomena, but demanded that the star A was so vastly distant that notwithstanding that the Earth must have moved from C to D, this great change of position would not give a readable difference in the angle of observation at A, or in other words, the amount of parallax. Annual parallax, it was called, was not perceptible. Since the period of the above experiments, many have declared that a very small amount of yearly parallax has been detected, but the proportion given by different observers has been so various that nothing definite and satisfactory can yet be decided upon. Tycho Brahe, that Brahe, not like we say now, bro, bruh, bra, not that. It's a band's name. Tycho Brahe, Brahe. Kepler and others rejected Copernican theory, principally on account of the failure to detect any parallax or displacement of the fixed stars. Dr. Bradley declared that what many called parallax was merely aberration. In the year 1839, Mr. Henderson, having returned from filling the position as Royal Astronomer to the Cape of Good Hope, in discussing a series of observations made here with a large mural circle of the bright star, a Centauri, announced as a positive fact that the measurable parallax for that star, the parallax assigned to A Centauri, is so very nearly a whole second in amount that we may speak of it as such, 98 100ths of a second. It corresponds to a distance from the sun of, oh boy, I think it's, oh no, that's beyond 18,918,000. Just say biggie. It's got triple Z's 3 times after. So 18, 918, 000000000 statute miles. Others have put the parallax of a star in Singus. Oh, a bunch of numbers. I feel so sorry for the people that I know are trying to hang in there and follow the reading without being able to see some of these. And kudos to y'all. You know who, I'm not going to call you out by name because I don't do that quite like that, but I do shout outs though, but not like that when you're trying to, personal things. I have just some discretionary. Okay, read Ruckus. This bunch of numbers. This corresponds to somewhat less than twice the distance of A Centauri, or to nearly 38 billions of miles. It might seem to a non-scientific mind that the difference above referred to of only a few fractions of a second in the parallax of a star constitutes a very slight amount. But these differences involve millions of miles. I knew it was millions of millions. Well, I don't know. I'm a little lost right now too. I have to go back. But blah, 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 blah. But these differences involved differences of millions of miles, as will be seen by the quotation from the Edinburgh Review for June 1850. The rod used in measuring a baseline is commonly 10 feet long, and the astronomer may be said only to apply this very rod to measure the distance of the fixed stars. An error in placing a fine dot, which gives the length of a rod amounting to 1/5000th part of an inch, will amount to an excess of 70 feet in the Earth's diameter, of 316 miles in the sun's distance, and to 65,200,000. It's 65,200,000 miles in that of the nearest fixed star. So just what you see is just like crazy numbers. That's what we have. The second point to which we would advert is that as the astronomer is in his observatory has nothing to do with ascertaining length as distance except by calculation, his whole skill and artifice is exhausted in the measurement of angles, for it is by these that spaces accessible can be compared. Parallax, page 8187. Boy, we may just have to do 10 pages tonight and break this chapter up in 2 parts, which I hate to do. I'll try not to, but I'm a little cold and shivery, and this is kind of heady material, and I'm hungry and angry about my diet, so we may not be able to get through as smoothly tonight. We'll see what happens. Happily, a ray of light is straight, yes, and so is the line of sight. We cannot look around the corner. I quit saying tonight. It may not be night for some of y'all, so let's see now. Okay. Did y'all hear about, Rob Reiner's son murdered him and his wife? Stabbed them. I don't really follow a whole lot of secular news. I don't. That's not the word I meant. A lot of news. I didn't really understand what was going on at first, and I heard it's like wow. So that happened today, just for a flashback in the past, in history. If you're here in the future, that was and there. I haven't really looked into it at all, but I know the story's a bit wild. But I don't know. Some of the news is interesting. Some's not. Why am I doing that? I'm not going to go into all this news. There's a lot of news in the world. Maybe that's a secondary topic I'll talk about sometimes. Yeah, that would be a great secondary topic when maybe I'll just do a Ruckus Rambles kind of thing, about discerning truth in this world where it's just there's so much flooding in. It can be so overwhelming. We have fake news, we have AI stories, we have this, we have that. And by the way, in case anybody wants to try to put Ruckus in a box, you cannot. Trust me. People think, ooh, I bet you're this, and you believe this, and you believe that. So maybe I could get to that sometime. Maybe a topic box, don't put Ruckus in a box. Because there's not a label that fits me all that very well. I would say Jesus for president. That's what I would say. There are some things that I align with on both sides. My, politics, woo, we don't really want to go there, but I can just tell you it's just not my thingy. It's just not my thingy. It's there, peace in the world. I even don't, I even cringe a little when people are like, God bless America, because I'm always like, God bless the whole world. But yeah, America, yeah, this is where I live. And there's a whole thing about that. So I'm a very colorful thinker. I am not a black and white thinker. So a little hard to put Ruckus in a box. So please don't do that. That's why, some people don't even want to get along with certain people that they think might be what they think I'm about. Anyway, Ruckus loves America. Ruckus loves the world. Ruckus is, it's funny calling myself in third. Like I said, Ruckus is a little more bold. I just love everyone, and that's why we're the whosoevers, and I want everybody to win. And I just hate the boxes and the division and the striving, because there's just a little bit of good in everybody, a little bit of bad in everybody. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what kind of music you listen to, what you just so that'd be that's not tonight's stream, but just so you know a little bit more about who I am and why I welcome all the whosoevers. And I don't even care if you don't believe in God. And I know from the title and stuff, that's probably not going to get a whole lot of those people in, at least not yet. Maybe later. I probably alienated a lot of people by this book, by the title, and I get it. And some people said, why'd you pick that? Because like I said, this is what I want to read. It's what I'm interested in. There's a lot of people that are interested in it. And I get the fact that it's maybe could reach out to more people, and I applaud those of you that have come in because you love me and you want to hear this. I got some ideas about a story time or something that doesn't have to be these topics at all. I mean, I had an associate pastor say that I'm an evangelizer. I'm like, eh. And then, a gifted storyteller. I'm like, oh my goodness, but I ramble. And then, other people are probably like, she talks too damn much. And then I don't know, but, or, maybe even some sobriety stories, and just maybe put those topic wise. So they're topical, and people can, share those out or just listen to what they want. So those are things maybe fun moving on in the, in the future, that people might find a lot more interesting. So, just that little thing there. I want to try to keep going with this read tonight, but like I said, it's a little heady. We are only, well, we're a little ways in here. Yeah, let's go. We're a little ways in here. Let's go. Now I lost my place. Boy, it's pretty heady though, people. Okay, let's look at some of the headlines and see if we want to carry on in this tonight or not. We're going to have Measuring the Stars. That sounds pretty interesting. We're going to have Exploring Expedition by Captain Wilkes. That's pretty interesting. We're going to have some astronomy. We're going to have some Galileo. This does look good to me. I don't know about to you, but let's see. How long is this? No, we're 45 minutes already. I think we're just going to do part one and say, hey, we didn't get real far, but have fun with it. We've got The Fall of the Apple, or The Tipsy Philosopher. Yeah, and that's it. I'll read a little bit more. Oh, we also have Arctic and Antarctic icebergs. So yeah, I see some stuff in here I really like. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going a little bit. I think I just came right back to my place. That was a good sign. I think this was it. Let's see. Oh my God, was it? Yeah, yeah. We're here. We're still good. We're here. Happily, a ray of sunlight is straight, yes, and so it looks like it's going to get a little easier. Let's see if we can blast through a bit more. Because I can read fast. Can you listen fast? Yes, and so is the line of sight. We cannot look around the corner or over an object that obscures the vision. Were it not so, there were an end of... Yeah, now I'm reading slow when I get stumbly. It is inflexible as adamant, which our instruments unfortunately are not. Now the angle of 1 second, 3 600th part of a degree, is a subtle thing. It is an apparent breadth utterly invisible to the unassisted eye unless accompanied by so intense a splendor as it is in case of the fixed stars, as actually to raise by its effect on the nerve of sight a spurious image, having a sensible breadth. Okay, so if there's any real smarty pantses out there, you're getting this. I see some things coming that hopefully are about to get a little bit easier, so let's get through this next paragraph, and I think it's going to get more fun. A silkworm's but I don't know, my reading comprehension sometimes, like, I gotta go back and, okay. A silkworm's fiber, or a cobweb line, used as a center or vertical and right angle in the telescope, thus subtends an angle of 1 second at 3 1/2 feet distance from the eye. A ball 2 1/2 inches in diameter must be removed in order to subtend an angle of 1 second 43 thousandths feet. I was looking at a little tiny picture. It ain't much. It's a circle with like a target in the center of it. Whew. Okay, so let me say that again. Or about 8 miles, while it would be utterly invisible to the sharpest sight, aided even by a telescope of 100 powers. So our brainiacs there might be following this. Yet it is on the measurement of one single sight that the ascertainment of a sensible parallax in any fixed star depends, and an error of 1,000th of that amount, a quantity still immeasurable by the most perfect of modern astronomical instruments, would place a fixed star too far or too near by 200 millions of miles. Blah, blah, blah. Big number from the Encyclopedia Americana. Advocates of the Copernican theory of the spherical motion of the Earth, we copy the following. Of the actual magnitude and distance of the stars, we know nothing. The diameter of the Earth's orbit is two. Is this two comma triple zeros triple zero triple zero miles? Yeah, see, I told you I'm not the brightest crayon in the box all the time. We all have our areas. I tell that sometimes. My mom might say, "You're so smart," when I talk about something I studied or know, and then I might turn around and just say the dumbest thing, and I'll be like, "Mom, you're my mom. That's why." And then I'm like, I think you're smart because we all have our areas, right? There are just things that some of you are extremely bright and uh, knowledgeable in that I'm not, and not all of us hold vast wealth of knowledge in every single damn area. Um, I am not a Jill of all trades. I'm a master of none, literally. So I appreciate those of you that are able to hold all that knowledge in your head. I can for a while, and then it goes out, and then I gotta. My mom puts it this way: she's got CRS, can't remember shit. She says you gotta sometimes forget some shit so you can learn some new shit. And boy, do I love my mom. Um, I don't know if it was her or I that said my rememberer. I think this was me. My my forgetterer is broken and my rememberer works real good. So it. We do sometimes just have our areas. When I studied this stuff, like I said, I'm rusty on this. It's been about 2012ish, 2014 that I hardcore studied this. So I'm just because, and I had the numbers game down then. I had a lot of the equations and math because I was studying it at that time. Now I'm just like, yeah, okay. Now I'm more involved in what I see in God's word about it. So this book is, if you really care about this subject, maybe I'll put in towards some of the ends or other parts of them, just more of a layman's term, But I was, I like the chapter the other night that was talking about what the Bible has to say about it. I've got a couple of other books that are fascinating, that are just real basic about, what is, what do we see? Like I said, I might plug in some little verses at the end. So anyway, just little thing in there just to be like, we all some be smarter than others. There's that. And some of us, like me, trip over their own shoelaces all day long. How's the Ana DeFranco line go? When I look up, I miss all the good stuff. When I look up, no, when I look down, I miss all the good stuff. When I look up, I just trip over things. Yeah, it's been long. I can't even remember a verse now. I used to be able to quote her a lot too. Ruckus is hungry. A change of place amounting only to a second would be detected by the accuracy of modern observations. Geometrical considerations therefore prove that the nearest star cannot be less than 20 billions of miles distant of us. We're coming up on an hour. I really don't want these to be longer than an hour. Let's see if we can get to this measuring of the stars real quick and then do an over and out. Sufficient has been said in this chapter to show, because we're almost halfway through this chapter. Sufficient has been said in this chapter to show the complexity, uncertainty, and unsatisfactory state of the question of mobility of yearly parallax of the Earth as hypothetically advocated by Copernicus and held by, oh look, I got applause. Parallax of the Earth as hypothetically advocated by Copernicus and held to the modern astronomers and scientists in general to forever annihilate by actual demonstrative the evidence. Oh God, now we got commercials and we're listening to something different. My Chopin's gone. I'm overstimulated. See, okay, I'm just going to get real for a second. The reason I do this like this in the still of the night, people who know me in the real, some of you know this, some of you might go, oh, now I get it. And not my face on the camera, maybe later, but and why I act like I do sometimes because anxiety. So, I literally almost ruined my own wedding because I rushed down the aisle. I couldn't look at the people that drove for so far, that loved me, that were there. Of course, it was chilly. That my wedding. Hey, I could do a story time on the fiasco that was my wedding, and God love all you that came and were, why did we decide to do this outside in April? Because we looked at the Farmer's Almanac and they said it was going to be warm. So yeah, that'd be a fun story time. I never really discussed it a whole lot, but gosh, it was what it was. But my anxiety, and my anxiety comes out, and some of people get so confused about that because you're like, but I don't get it. You're a people person. Yeah, I'm pretty fine one on one. Maybe people can understand. So I do have a social anxiety. That's why in crowds and in group settings, people have read me differently or wrong or rude because I can't think. I forget to breathe, and I have these anxious moments, and then I don't even like to talk about it. So I have actually fainted, like 4 times. So there's a story I could, say how I found that out because my doctor, I'll save it for later, but when I was pregnant, found out. And for people, and I know a lot of people have anxiety. I get anxious just thinking about it. When people talk too close in my face and I back up and they think I'm being weird or being rude, see, my stomach is already going. I have a couple weird things. I have a fear of heights and bridges, and it's, ugh, I can't, bleh. So just, and the thing about it is, like, I like to say I'm fearless. Like, I'm not afraid of anything except for slugs. And I shouldn't have said it because damn, if people won't do not send me slug pictures on Facebook. You will get blocked and banned. Um, I've had nightmares about them, and that's really the only thing I'm afraid of. I said that for years and years. I used to have nightmares about waking up, and they're all over the bedroom floor. I had to walk through them, and I got a whole. There's a story time. Is my slug phobia? My sons used to. They got very respectful about it because they understood it was real after and then they quit picking on me when they saw me like become a puddle of mess. But people have anxieties, they're real, and they're theirs for whatever reason. But I didn't understand earlier on that my social anxiety, generalized is what it was. I didn't really understand it up to a point, but there was it took me even years, even later as it developed. So like I said, it's a whole thing that it took me a long time. It's caused me problems in small spaces, in work and training and crowds. Um, I fainted in line at the amusement park and at a restaurant, and the doctor had to find out why I was doing it in my grandma's hospital room. And then I'd go out, and then I could breathe. So, and then there's the bridge thing, the height thing, which, became, like it's an unreasonable thing where you feel like you're going to be ejected and go over and fall. Is anybody feeling me? And it's like ridiculous to feel that way that you can't. I want so much, but I've had to look out and see. But I've had dreams that I climb up, I love it. I climb up a water tower and then I'm stuck up there and I can't get down because these are things that I have. I have fear of heights, fear of slugs, fear of crowds, fear of small spaces, as claustrophobia. Claustrophobia isn't always just being in a tiny room, which that's part of it, but it can be. But it's not really like I have trouble shutting the bathroom stalls in public. But look, It can be just somebody talking too close in your nose, and you're like, back up, there's a striking distance here. So I'm not going to go into all that right now, but if you've ever seen me act weird or be like, I can't think, and now, I'm in a crowd, did I offend you? I've had people say that. So that's why I can get comfortable sitting back like this in my own thoughts, and then I can lose it. But since I'm hungry and I just got all worked up about my anxiety, and I went through years before, like people pleasing and perfectionism and all that. And these things are real. These things really affect people. I know they do. I'm not really embarrassed to say it anymore. And so that can be, maybe a topic we can talk about. I'll jot these things down, so I'm my secretary. Jot that down. Okay, she got it. So, it makes me almost like my stomach flips when I think about it or try to talk about it. So we'll have to get real good and relaxed for that one, to go into the anxiety of stuff. But my husband has been a godsend, and who was brought to me for that. Hey, there's story time. And a lot of you, some of you know how Rex and I were brought together. It's a doozy. And I know it's a doozy. I mean, people in our life and jobs, and so we're going to do that too. So I've got topical things in mind. I think we're just about done for the reading tonight. I'm cold, I'm shivery, I'm hungry. Now I've talked about my anxieties, which is vulnerable. It's probably why I had to numb sometimes with alcohol or whatever, or to sleep, issues like that. These things are, kind of a little bit more about me and where we can go, because I want my mess to be a message. So, this maybe, I don't know if anybody got anything out of anything tonight, but there you have it. We are at literally 1 hour, and I'm seeing some headlines here about that look pretty good for later, but I'm going to put a bookmark in it. We're going to call it a night, call that a reading. I got to say that differently, because I'm chilly, and your all head's probably spinning from maybe, the brainiacs kept up just fine with that, but that reading, and maybe I'll go back and look at it and be like, that was easy, but reading and my comprehension sometimes goes in to look at it, and of course my interrupting and coming back. So I'm still kind of working out that groove, if you can follow in between my stories, or should they be separate. So leave it in the comments, what works for you, what doesn't, and I'll think about it. Like I said, it's still going to come out whatever, but remember, the theme of this is gathering together, not being, if you gleaned something out of it, yay. If you got something different out of it that none of us were expecting, because we're gathering, we are whosoever's, and maybe the topic was a blah for you, but maybe I'll say, I hope you followed. I know there are some people that are following just because they're trying in order, even made it through chapter 1 and that whatnot. So it's time for the water softener to do its loud thing now. So see, this is good timing to check out. My husband explained to me that it's not the water heater, and and he told me again that it's on a cycle, and it refreshes it like every 6 days, and I don't always catch it, and I'm like, if like now you're gonna hear it and it gets loud, and I'll be like, what is wrong in there? I usually just ignore these things that come up. So that's a great time to say ruckus out, because here comes the water softener on schedule. Let's see what time it is. The water softener schedule does its thing at, I can't read that clock. Does that say 1 a.m.? Yeah, for me, it's 1 a.m. So I'm just going to say peace out, ruckus out.